Hi, my name is Namita Gupta. I am the founder of Airveda. To start my story, I graduated from IT Delhi in 2001. I moved to the US after that. I was there for 13 years, 7 years with Microsoft, 6 years with Facebook. I moved back to India in December 2013. My daughter is asthmatic, and then I have a family history of asthma. I'm asthmatic. My father is asthmatic. My daughter, actually, she was 3 years old when I moved back to India, and she had her first massive asthma attack when she was 2 years old. So when we moved to India, we had a really bad winter. My daughter had several asthma attacks. We were, in a lot of emergency. I was actually expecting my second child. I was dealing with a lot of asthma. And in 2014 is when Delhi was declared the most polluted city in the world. And this is how I got acquainted with the air quality issue. Initially as, a mother who was dealing with children who were asthmatic and trying to figure out, how do I help them manage, living in a polluted city. So, so initially I was an advocate. It started out with, trying to figure out how do I reduce exposure for my children at home. I bought purifiers, but I didn't know whether they were working. So, I actually, bought a monitor to start, tracking air quality at home, to understand, what the air quality was. I started tracking air quality data outside. My first goal was to manage air quality at home, for myself, for my children. Try to understand, what the air quality was outside. When should I send my children outside? When should I keep them indoors? Once I had sort of figured out air quality at home, the next thing was to help my child, at the school. I went and spoke to my child's school. Unfortunately, the level of awareness around air quality was so poor that when I spoke to my child's school, they said, we are a green area, there's no air pollution here. So I, decided to actually give them a monitor so that they could start tracking air quality in the school and start making some changes. Similarly, I set up an air quality monitor outside my house, so I could start sharing data with my community. And I realized that, when people saw data, it really sort of affected them, and they actually did something about it. Like, we decided not to do a Diwali, firecracker show because the air quality was really bad. Slowly, as I was sort of sharing air quality data with community, a lot of parents started coming up to me. They wanted to know how to manage air quality exposure for their children. They wanted me to go and talk to the children's schools around, how to sort of get them become more aware around the air quality issues that the children were facing in schools. And this is really how Airveda was born. So at Airveda, our goal is to make data available to citizens, to democratize data, so that people can actually manage their health. Right? Our mission is to help people breathe well, live well. So we are an air quality monitoring organization. We manufacture air quality monitors, both for indoor and outdoor environments. So for outdoor, we work with local governments. We work with a lot of institutes to deploy air quality networks so that we can make more data available to citizens. And then in the indoor front, we work with schools, we work with offices, we work with individuals to help them manage air quality at home. Unfortunately, air pollution is something where air quality, the regulatory grade air quality sensors that the government uses today are extremely expensive. It costs, almost sort of a crore to set up an air quality monitor, as a result of which there's very little monitoring in the country today. There are only about 150 cities which have any kind of monitoring out of 8,000 cities and towns across the country. So low-cost monitoring that we work on, they're significantly cheaper. Our devices cost about 30,000-40,000 rupees. And we really believe that the future of monitoring in the country is sort of low-cost sensors. So as part of this, we have been working with a lot of, we work with IT Delhi, with IT Kanpur, a lot of the institutes. We're working with Gurgaon Municipal Department, and our goal is to deploy these sensors across the country to make more data available to citizens, because you can't really fix something that you can't measure. So our goal is to help make this data available to citizens so that they can actually help manage their health, but then also to make this data available for policy development and for governments to actually evaluate the solutions that they are building to ensure that they are focusing on the right problems. So I think what I would like to tell students is that we have so many problems in this country. Everywhere you look around, there is an opportunity to improve, right? Whether it is in health, whether it is in education, there's poverty, there's environment. Everywhere you look around, there are problems, right? And I think it's very easy to look at a problem and say, okay, it is how it is. We just have to live with it, or the government will work on it, or somebody else will fix it. But I really think that the only way we can move the country forward is when we see this as our problem, and we look at it and we say, okay, I'm going to take a problem that affects me personally, or that I feel really passionate about, and work towards fixing it. And the solution may seem hard at first, but what I've seen is that every small step takes you closer to the solution, and you have to stay optimistic and passionate. And when you work on something that you're passionate about, that is meaningful to you personally, it's just extremely fulfilling, and I truly believe that you find a way to excel in that.